Okay, here we are. Here's one for the thumbnail. Second book review, second Three Principles book review, probably the last. Funnily enough, this one was recommended by the author of the first one, Sweet Sharing. Ankush Jain is a Three Principles coach. He recommended this, and this is fantastic. Being Human by Amy Johnson. Not exactly the same experience from reading this book, not the same experience that you get from Sweet Sharing, that can actually create a mini insight in you when you're reading it. But this one is really, really clear and really powerful in its ability to define this understanding. So there are some similarities between the way both authors focus on childhood. So Sweet Sharing is a kind of play on words, because one of Ankush's first memories of being a child and sharing his sweets is a very strong reminder for him of what being grounded feels like, and what being connected, what truly being connected to other people. So Amy Johnson takes it one stage further, because she writes about her own children and watching their experience of growing up, and particularly her young son, who doesn't feel like an individuated self at all. He's completely connected. So the way Amy describes her experience of being a parent is really beautiful. She says, I've been living with these children still on their factory settings. You know, the world hasn't taught them to create their experience of reality via thought. They simply experience things, emotions come, emotions go, and they don't identify with their own thinking as being part of who they are. And in fact, one of the key quotes that I've written a Medium article about this. One of the key quotes I've put underneath the title page is, "Your real self doesn't think," and that's something to hold on to. Your real self doesn't think. So the way that Amy illustrates this is interesting. She talks about getting up in the morning in her home, and she's walking down to sort of the living area, and she feels this tremendous sense of peace. You know, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you haven't started processing, you haven't started thinking, you're in that space between being asleep and being awake. It's very peaceful, the house is quiet. And she notices that immediately her mind springs into action and starts thinking, asking the question, why? Why am I so peaceful? Why do I feel so calm? Is it the fact that the birds are singing outside? Is it the fact that there's something else outside of me, which is it the fact that there's no one around in the house? What are these things outside of me that are changing the way that I feel? And then she comes to that, she has that insight, she has that realization, oh, hold on, that's just my mind. That's just my mind doing what it normally does and looking for things outside of myself to explain why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Whereas in fact, I'm in my factory settings, right? I've woken up without that, without that sort of daily mental grind. And I'm just being who I was designed to be. So it's well worth a read. There's some incredibly powerful stuff in there. A lot of it to do with identification and identity. It's really helped me develop my understanding of the theory, if you like, of the principles. And there's an awful lot in there that can help you if you're trying to explain it to somebody else. So well worth a read. And if you do, I hope you enjoy.